Yeah.
You studied marketing and advertising, and
Yes.
then you later pursued an MSc in international management.
Yes.
How has that influenced your career path?
I fell into marketing and advertising by accident, to be honest. I, from a very young age, I used to work in nightclubs in Middlesbrough, so I used to like do all the flyering, that like inviting people to come into the clubs, the promoter role, and I started that from 17 years old. Out of the back again, going back a little bit further, was because I had a very stupid 17th birthday party when I was in school, when I was in college, and everybody turned up, and I told the venue it was 18. It was 18. Honestly, there was buses coming from different colleges into this venue, and the police turned up really, really quickly because they found out this. But so from that, one of the promoter managers heard my name being passed around, so he contacted me. He's like, I heard you got a bit of following, like, do you fancy coming work for us? So I went to work for them, and I was just doing that, getting people into clubs and bars. And then from that, I decided to do a foundation in business management at Middlesex College. And again, whilst I was doing that, I found finance boring. I just wanted to find anything to do with accountants. I just didn't want to do, but anything to do with advertising, promoting, I was so into it. So I remember my tutor saying to me, like, you'll be really, really good at marketing. After you finish here, I would advise you to go to marketing, but finance will hate you because you just like to spend money, but you can't actually explain how that works within finances. And so when it was time for me to take a decision, I was like, you know what, I'm going to do my top up marketing advertising. And I went to do that at university, and the best decision I ever made, because it let me just kind of be creative and think outside the box, because that's naturally what I am, like just to kind of like put things together and see how people buy things, or how people behave around specific colors or patterns or all those type of things. And I really love doing that. So that's what led me to go into marketing advertising.
Welcome to another episode of the African Entrepreneur Series by the Diaspora Code, a platform where we spotlight African entrepreneurs who are building, thriving, growing in the UK and beyond, doing excellently and amazingly well. So today's episode is not just about talking about success, it's about impact. Because my guest today is someone who is actively shaping the community, empowering young people, not just here in the UK, across borders. Now, he is a public speaker, a footballer, a creative director, a community leader. He has led young development programs, been part of initiatives that have reached thousands of people through cultural events. I'm talking about exhibitions and even community engagement. Now, today he stands as a finalist for the UK Top Inspirational Influencers Award 2026. And also is a reflection of the impact that he continues to make through his work, his voice, and his purpose. Now, please join me as we welcome Junior Masandi.
Hi.
How are you today?
I'm very well, thank you.
So,
That's a nice introduction.
thank you.
Thank you.
So, you've actually worn so many hats. You've done a lot of things.
Yeah.
Now, can you tell me who Junior Masandi is?
Yeah, so the most honest way for me to answer that question would be, I'm a community leader, so that will be across the UK and also Congo. So I do a lot of work with young people, and also people from our ethnicity and culture and background as well. I am a sports person, so I do play football, and I do enjoy keeping myself nice and fit as well. And I'm an entrepreneur, looking at developing businesses both here and also Congo, predominantly more in Congo. And lastly, also, I would say I'm a marketing professional as well, because I've graduated with a marketing degree, and I also still support businesses in developing themselves online in marketing.
All right. So there was an interview I saw where you said sports has actually played a major role in your journey.
Mm-hmm.
Can you talk more about that?
Yeah, it has. From a very young age, I think being black and coming into the UK, I struggled to settle in a little bit, and I fell into sports from school. I think just playing playing in the playgrounds with other people, I realized that I was actually I could play football. So because I actually played that sport, being around teams and being around other people, it helped me to kind of settle in quite well, and also develop also my network as well. So sports has been a big part, and even and 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 even today, being able to play at different levels that I've actually been able to play at has opened a lot more relationship with other people, and also give me good profiles to then go on to be seen, I guess.
So when we're talking about sport, talking about football, yeah.
Yes.
So did it in any way shape your mindset? You know, make you disciplined, and also when it comes to leadership, do you think that has any impact?
Yeah, absolutely. There is one of the things about me is I like to push myself to, and I like to be the next person next to me. So I've had to learn to be disciplined in how I take care of myself and how I take care of my body to be able to perform on a day-to-day basis. When I go to points where, for example, because I'm a football I'm a centre forward, I'm a striker. Scoring goals is like my mini glory. I like people to talk about my goals and how I've done. So being able to push yourself to be able to consistently perform throughout a year, uh, throughout a season takes a lot of work as well. Because I know when I've not trained, because my performance dips, so I know that I have to keep working. Then around the leadership role, I was lucky enough to be captain of Durham City, and I've captained over things like county level, etc. So there was that leadership role that was instilled within me, which means like I had people around me that I've got to pick up if we lose, and I'd be like, listen guys, let's go, let's lift it up, and people were looking up to me. It wasn't just people from my age; there was a younger individuals that also come into the team. They needed that little bit of a cuddling as well. So taking that role was really key, which also led me to then go into the in, and which then helped me develop those skills when it comes to business and community, etc. Just naturally having that from sport.
All right. So as an African, do you think breaking into that sector, going into sports, football to be precise, is it difficult? Do you in any way face some sort of restrictions?
Um, no, yes and no. When I say no was predominantly because naturally we are physically fitter, stronger, and at that time, so getting to sports wasn't that difficult because we used to like sports back home as well.
Yeah.
So as long as you have the skills, and everything else can develop from that. Then the other part of it, when I'm going to say yes to the restriction, the racism that actually came with that was the toughest thing I had to deal with in sports in general, and that came from a very young age up until even now. There are still moments where you are still being racially attacked, or you're racially you are being attacked, and you are being people are making comments towards you just because of your skin color. So those were the biggest challenges I've had to face, and that's not just been against other teams. It's also been referees at games. It's also been other managers. It's also been at times the league itself as well. It can be quite uneducated
Yeah.
on like about culture and race and identity. For example, we had a time when we had a game, and me and my other players in the team, we black, and we both could speak French. So naturally, our natural language was to speak to each other in French. The referee says to me, if you ever here you're in England, you speak English. If you speak any other language, I will send you off. It's like, I'm going. That's how can you get away with something like that? And he actually did get away with saying that. So there's all the challenges that we had to deal with on a day-to-day basis when it came to games.
And would you actually advise, younger ones, especially of African descent, to go into sports or?
100%. Like I've seen some people doing really well. Like a perfect example is Filippo Telly, who just got onto the Nigerian team. He had his debut last weekend. He was here in Teesside with us, like which me and him trained on the park, and
That's nice.
at one moment if you don't mind me saying this, like he wasn't sure where he's going to go with football, but because he worked hard and get to where he's signed pro, and now he's actually seen the rewards of his hard work. So there is doors that could open through sports. I definitely would advise people to go into sport, because naturally it's good for you anyway, and also for your own mental health as a man or as a woman, it's really good for you. And lastly, also, like, you never know what doors could open from the back of that, but just kind of also have that discipline and the team around you, like a village around you, to support you when things go wrong as well is really important.
Oh, good. So just tell me, what does a day for you typically looks like?
I have no 2 days that are the same. Because as I do many different things and I tend to be in different projects, like it's just never the same. And I quite like it that way, to be honest, because I have this thing where I can get bored quite easily. So
All
it's
right.
so I like to I like to do things that I feel passionate about and I want to do. And it's a choice I made a long time ago to not work corporate anymore, to kind of like just pick projects that I feel is right for me. And I'm lucky enough I can do that. So my normal day, the only thing I can say for sure that I do on a normal day to basis is go to the gym in the morning. So if I go to the gym at 6:30 in the morning, that's usually 3 to 4 times a week. I'll go to the gym in the first thing in the morning, and then after that, it just depends what level is in my diary. If I've got meetings, I will attend those. If I feel like today I don't want to do this project, I'll do it later on. I'll do it tomorrow. I am able to do that depending on when the deadline is. But yeah, usually it's my days is pretty much open and flexible.
All right. So now let's talk about your career path.
Yeah.
You studied marketing and advertising, and
Yes.
then you later pursued an MSc in international management.
Yes.
Now, how has that influenced your career path?
I fell into marketing and advertising by accident, to be honest. I from a very young age, I used to work in nightclubs in Middlesbrough, so I used to like do all the flyering, that like inviting people to come into the clubs, the promoter role, and I started that from 17 years old. Out of the back again, going back a little bit further, was because I had a very stupid 17th birthday party when I was in school, when I was in college, and everybody turned up, and I told the venue it was 18. It was 18. Honestly, there was buses coming from different colleges into this venue, and the police turned up really, really quickly because they found out this is. But so from that, one of the promoter managers heard my name being passed around, so he contacted me. He's like, "I heard you got a bit of following. Like, do you fancy coming work for us?" So I went to work for them, and I was just doing that, getting people into clubs and bars. And then from that, I decided to do a foundation in business management at Middlesex College. And again, whilst I was doing that, I found finance boring. I just wanted to find anything to do with accountants. I just didn't want to do, but anything to do with advertising, promoting, I was so into it. So I remember my tutor saying to me, like, "You'll be really, really good at marketing. After you finish here, I would advise you to go to marketing, but finance will hate you because you just like to spend money, but you can't actually explain how that works within finances." And so when it was time for me to take a decision, I was like, "You know what, I'm going to do my top up in marketing advertising." And I went to do that at university, and the best decision I ever made, because it let me just kind of be creative and think outside the box, because that's naturally what I am, like just to kind of like put things together and see how people buy things, or how people behave around specific colors or patterns or all those type of things. And I really love doing that. So that's what led me to go into marketing advertising. I wanted to do my master's into digital international business, but I didn't enjoy it. So I am looking to then go back and do it within the marketing advertising, because that's what I want to focus on, because now I do teach marketing advertising at apprenticeship level. So that's one of my job roles as well. And I've done really, really well in the last 5 years doing it as well. So that's how I got to where I got to.
So do you think a lot of African entrepreneurs are exploiting ways to market their business?
Yes, I think people underestimate the importance of marketing. I've spoke to a lot of businesses around Teesside. They will put money into having this most beautiful venue or the shop, etc., etc. Then I go, "So what is your marketing budget?" "Oh, I don't have a marketing budget." It's like, that is the number one thing that you need to think about, is how people are going to come to the place. Yeah, you've done everything else is great, but you can't tell me you got a marketing budget. So then I have to kind of like educate them why it's important to have a consistent marketing beyond the business, as in like to get the promotion, to get people involved, get new audiences. Because naturally what people do, for example, if you have like a restaurant in Teesside, so when you open a restaurant, they go, "Oh yeah, my African people will come to the restaurant." If we're talking about just about within the black community, I'm like, but that's not your audience. That shouldn't be a target audience, because most people who have, for example, have a restaurant in like in Teesside, like a black restaurant, they'll tend to have like a restaurant they'll open, and the target audience will be black people. And then I said to them, most black people know how to cook at home. So
Mhm.
usually, if a black family want to go out for something to eat, they'll go after church. It'll be usually be on a Sunday after church. But what about the rest of the week? So how are you going to cope for the rest of the week? And then they'll say they go, yeah, but word of mouth. I went, that's not enough. Like for you to get that done, you need to also target a different community of people that will come and enjoy the food. So you have to be aware of how you cook your food, and then how to then target, and also how to market to those people for them to also want to come to then top up your earnings as well. And the people don't think about that. And I was like, but you need to think about that, because as a business, you will not survive, especially in Teesside, just if you just focus on one specific market. So there's all those things I try to communicate to those people when they would come and talk to me about the challenges that they may have in Teesside. So yeah, so that's the
You
things.
talked about teaching people about marketing.
Yes.
So is it like a school or what exactly?
Yeah, so I work for a company called CTEC. So CTEC employed me to lead on the digital marketing elements of teaching apprenticeship. So that's from the age of 17 years old up. So it'll be young people that will be employed by business, and the business will then sign them up onto an apprenticeship, so they can get a qualification.
Okay.
So the apprenticeship is the qualification is what I teach. So I will see them once a month, and I'll do courses. I will teach them. So it will be once a month for 18 months, for example.
Okay.
And then there will be some specific courses I've got to deliver to them, and then they have an exam at the end of it. So that's what I do. But outside that, I also work with businesses and also coach businesses as well, develop online. And I also can deliver for businesses. But again, you'll have to pay me money for that.
Definitely, because people need to know more about marketing. There are a
Yeah.
lot of people who have businesses and they have no idea how to reach their customers, how to put their business out there.
Yeah.
And I think that's what a lot of entrepreneurs are actually
Yeah,
missing.
absolutely. And last year, I think last year I delivered a couple of workshops as well, which was funded by Taste of Africa. So I delivered those workshops around for the Black Creative Arts Network, and people will come. I was able to then teach them some things, and there's some basic things of what to be aware of as well. So from time to time, I do deliver workshops as well. But again, it just depends on when the availabilities are.
All right. So let's talk about Taste of Africa.
Yes.
So how did that come about, and what's Taste of Africa all about?
So Taste of Africa Northeast has been an organization that's been going now for 23 years, I think. 23 years now.
Wow.
So 23 years ago, a Nigerian woman called Folashade Sangowawa decided that for the community, she wanted to do an event that brought everybody back together, like with the community, because everybody was surpassed. There's a way for everybody to kind of meet for one night, and also to celebrate the Black culture and African culture, and also to engage other communities, or to come and understand what it means to be Black and African, etc. as well.
Mm-hmm.
So she did this event 23 years ago, and a lot of people turned out into this hall, and it was full. So then she did again a third year, and then from that it developed onto what it consistently was. So what it consistently is. So I've been working in I've been part of Taste of Africa since I was 16 years old. So I've been in it 20 years now.
Wow.
Yeah. So it started a few years before I came, and so I've started as a young person, and then I worked my way up to now being a trustee within a charity, and also one of the creative programmers as well. So Taste of Africa, what we do now is we work a lot with young people, especially with young Black people, predominantly the ones that are coming here to look to settle in the UK, and then we kind of like give them a home, somewhere for them to develop, somewhere to feel empowered, and somewhere for them to learn different life skills that they're also missing out as well. So they meet once every 2 weeks. And they start every 2 weeks. They'll meet, and we usually will have a project that we're working on, or they'll just be delivering workshops, or sometimes they just want to come and just chill and actually be with each other, listen to music, dance, and have some food, etc. as well. So it became like a safe space for young Black people to be at. So that's one thing that we do is the Creative Youth Leadership Program. We also have the Black Creative and Arts Network, so Black creatives within the Tees Valley. A lot of come from abroad, like yourselves, for example. And it gives them a home to kind of meet also sometimes as well, and also learn how to develop their business ideas or develop themselves as creatives within the UK as well. Again, give them somewhere to also get support, to get information of those things. Again, with 23 years of of experience, there's a lot of connections that we've also built that we can also open other people as well. So we kind of there just be like, listen, if you need a hand, if you need something support, we're there for that as well. And we also have the Miss Black History Youth, Miss Black History pageant. Again, that's celebrating Black women, empowering them as well. So that pageant happens once a year. We didn't have it last year. We're looking to redo it this year. So that's something we are looking to develop. And also we have all the events that we have year on year that again celebrates who we are as Black people, and with all different events. So that within that we bring in food, entertainment, etc. And some of them have been like, so we've had like a carnival, for example, which we had last year, which was very well turned out. The Taste of Africa Showcase, which has been going for 22 years, that happens inside Middlesbrough Town Hall. Then we also have a Black History Youth Awards dinner celebrating young people and the achievement they've had in last year. That could be in sports, technology, etc. And they get celebrated that night as well. So they do quite a lot.
I know, that's a lot.
Yeah. Oh, and also we also go into schools when, for example, we've got young black kids who are struggling with culture within the school. We can actually engage with the schools with that as well, and deliver workshops to police, to of different organizations to, again, help them understanding different cultures where they come from as well.
No, that's quite a lot.
Yeah.
So you've worked closely with lots of young people through leadership and development programs. So what challenges have you seen among Africans, when you're dealing with them?
When I'm dealing with our African people.
Yeah, like when you're dealing with the youths of the diaspora, the ones you've met.
Yes.
What do you think the challenges they are facing?
I think the biggest challenge I understand from is the parents being available, giving them the space and availability to be available on a Saturday, because as we from our African culture and African homes on a Saturday, like you wake up, your mom will be like, okay, you're cleaning this, you're washing this, you're doing this, you're doing that. All those things. Or you're going to the shop for me, or we going out to see family. We do that quite often. So now making those young people available to then come to us for a couple of hours to learn and then go back home, that's always been a very like a big challenge. But because we're building relationship with the parents, which is now making it easier for the young people to be available to us as well. So that's one element of it. Our young people like to just, especially going to school, waking up early during the week to go to school. On a Saturday, they want to just stay in bed.
Yeah.
So we do meet at 12 o'clock, but some people like to have the weekend for themselves as well. So again, understanding that. Sometimes there's also churches as well that do things on the Saturday as well. So you kind of are competing, not so much, but you are kind of competing against churches as well. So they go to church as well. So there's all the different things that on the day-to-day that we found challenging. But beyond that, though, young people are great to have around. When they're around, they are phenomenal.
Do you think a lot of them struggle to fit in, in the society?
In the UK,
yeah.
Yes, and some do, some don't. I guess that can be across all different ages as well. Some people some will come, and because the way they've been raised back home, or also understanding, they would struggle to understand how the UK work, and I guess it just be like, but there could be the mannerism or how they talk or how they are, the things that they could do back home. For example, we had a young person, an amazing young individual. He was young. He's 11, 12 years old, and he had issues with school because back home he's used to making himself like a weapon, like with like plastic or whatever. But back home it's normal. Like kids will create things and then they can cut things up, or they can cut mangoes with it, etc. But when he did that here, the police was called because it was based around knife crime.
Oh.
So he couldn't understand why that was happening, and quickly he got known to the police because of that situation, which is coming from where we come from. The moment you're known to the police for that, it's hard to get that sticker off you now. So that's been the small challenges that we'll be looking at developing.
So now let's talk about community and leadership.
Yes.
So you're part of the Black Creative and Arts Network.
Yes.
What impact have you seen through that work so far?
So I'm one of the co-moderators in the Black Creative and Arts Network. So I work closely with a very good friend of mine, like one of my besties, Vana Lumbiwa. So we work on a creative and arts networks. We've seen a lot of people come through the network and go on to develop the businesses. So, for example, there's a food business that been able to get support from us, and she's been doors were open with other festivals within the Northeast, and she's been able to now get herself in those doors and develop a business within those doors. So again, that came through us. We have a music artist that came again through us, and as soon as an opportunity opened with, I think it was a mobile awards when it came Newcastle last year. There was some workshops that had opened, and we're like, listen, you need to upload the music onto this, because my guy on the inside said, like, if I go know somebody, I should push him forward. So we pushed him forward, and he was in a room with all these professionals from radio to publishers to record labels. It's a room with them and playing his music for them to listen to it. So now he's getting a little bit of recognition at the back of that. Because my background is also music management, so I've done music touring, etc. as well. So I've been able to support some of the musicians that are coming through the Black Creative Arts Network, and give them like the right connections or contacts for them to be able to speak to. Some organizations, for example, some creatives didn't understand how to potentially do the accounting element of it. So being able to get somebody to come deliver workshops around that to support them as well. But a lot of businesses have done really well coming through the network. We've had the barbershop, Afro King's Barber. He was in every, I guess, media. Just about a year or so ago, talking about his mental health story and how his shop was built around the mental health and making black men feel like they can be seen. So that story went quite everywhere, from BBC to ITV to newspapers, etc. And he had that viewership, like where people have been able to see a reason what he's done. So all those things have come through the Black Creative Arts Network.
So you've talked about a lot of people who have, had like contributed to growth.
Yes.
Now, what would you talk about? I know this question might contain ambiguity, but how would you describe community? Because you're also a community leader, yeah?
Yeah.
A lot of Africans struggle to come together,
Yes.
of which is quite important.
Yes.
Now, how would you what do you think the problem is, especially among Africans, trying to come together to form a community? I help you, you help me, we're networking. Why do you think a lot of Africans struggle to come together, to work together, to form a community?
That's $1 million question, $1 million question. I think that's if we could figure that out, our African community would develop a lot more and a lot quicker. And I think it's down to trust as well. And I think for some reason we have this mentality that if I help you, you will go further and I'll be put aside.
Yeah.
Rather, if we look at the way the Asians, for example, the Asian community work is, I'll help you when you grow, you help me, we grow together, we develop. So I don't know why, but we're hardwired to think that your partner or your person next to you is a competition, when naturally they're not a competition. So we've been trying to break that barrier down within the communities, and kind of being able to bring everybody together in the room to say, listen, there is enough for everybody to eat. For example, in our events, I know some events that will potentially just have one person doing the food, one person doing this, and 2 person. It's like, well, why? You can have 3-4 people and everybody shares the eat, everybody gets to know, and everybody can develop. So that's one of the challenges that we do have within our communities, being able to trust and support each other. But I will definitely say that is the most important thing that we can do, is find a way to collaborate with each other. Just because you're food and the next person's food doesn't necessarily mean that the food has to be the same. There's also things that you can collaborate. You know what? I'm struggling with this. You can help me with this, and vice versa. It happens. We can do. And it's actually quite weird, because I've going home, going home so often. I see that happening back home. No, but I don't understand why back home it happens, but here it doesn't happen. Where as a community, you know what, you're struggling, let me help you a second. Like, you can also grow as well, and you can help me back in the future as well. So that happens back home, but why not here? I don't know.
We never can say, because it's a lot of people just need to take away that mentality.
Yeah.
We unlearn, we learn new things, you know, we just
Yeah.
have to, because we actually need each other first to move forward.
We do, we do, especially being away from home, being
Yes.
in a different environment. We need our community. We need that um, community spirit more and more. And I think it's one discussion that's been happening over the last so many years about developing the Black Pound, as in like because years ago, if you look at history, there used to be like um, a what's the word I'm looking for. Um, there was an institute based around the black pounds, black money, etc. That actually was doing really really well, but ever since that was broken down, we've not been able to rebuild it. But it's really important that we have that so we can support all the black businesses, well,
Yeah.
because we need it more than anything else.
So on your journey as an entrepreneur,
Hmm.
what projects would you say has been the most challenging for you, and how were you able to deal with it?
I think the most challenging project I've actually worked in is back home. Um, so back home, I'm involved in a wedding venue that we've developed back home, and then also build some building work that I'm mostly working. I think that's been the hardest challenge, especially because I've grown majority of my time here in the UK. Have it, I can be seen as as bicultural, so I have this culture here and also culture back home.
Yeah.
But predom- for a while, the culture here was very strong. So when you go back home, you come in up with this British mentality, and then you think that actually, this doesn't work here. So you got to learn their mentality, then be able to then be able to thrive. So I've been spending a lot of time like developing that culture, understand the knowledge of how to work with people back home. So I think that's been one of my biggest challenge. I think here the most challenging one was because I was involved in some music venues here as well. I think a lot of mistakes were made when I was running um, those venues, and but there were mistakes that I'm glad I learned it at a young age, which has made me a much better person now, and made me more aware of all the challenges of having a business in the UK, what it's like as well. And lastly, one of the biggest challenges is understanding tax, when to pay tax, how to pay tax, and having a good invoice and a good accountant that can follow it up. Because when the tax man comes for you, he will come for you. So knowing how to then being able to manage for that as well.
All right. So you returned to the Democratic Republic
Yeah.
of Congo to document the real life experience in displacement camps.
Yeah.
So what inspired that decision?
So displacement camp was actually a really good friend of mine, Elvis Katoto, and he's doing some fantastic things in Eastern Congo because he's been part of the war that's happening in Congo. He's been part of following the journey of the war that's happening in Congo. He's been in Goma for the last 2 to 3 years now, and the story that he's pulling is sharing of what's happening in Eastern Congo is honestly, so a lot of it is heartbreaking and phenomenal. So I would definitely advise anybody to check out Elvis Katoto and check out the amazing work he's doing in Eastern Congo. So this came out of the piece of news, like a newspaper article that we both asked to do. But for my side of things, I've been documenting a lot more what's happening within the orphanages in Kinshasa. So I've spent the last 4 to 5 years going back and forth with a couple of orphanages in Kinshasa, and one of them has really taken my heart, and I spend a lot of time with them because there's some amazing young people out there who've come from crazy stories. For example, some of them have one of the child was kicked out by his mom because his mom accused him of being a witch, of doing witchcraft. One of the parents was sexually assaulted, which had meant that the child that came out of the abuse, it just reminded her of what the challenge that she's been through. So she wanted to get rid of her child. So all these children have ended up being in this orphanage. And then there was one specific story which actually broke all of us. There was a time that I went to the orphanage, and there was this amazing young man who was lay on the floor, and he was malnutritioned. He was really really ill. So we asked what was wrong with him. They said like, so basically he was picked up in a community close by, and he was brought to the orphanage. He had traveled from Eastern Congo, where the war is, all the way through to Kinshasa by himself on foot, and that's a long journey. So by the time he arrived, it was literally bones. He's in his village when he had got to get some water. Came back in the village, and his whole family was murdered. His village was completely burned down, so all he knew was just like kind of walk. So along the way, he's had some help. Obviously, people directing where to go, etc. But he literally gone through the jungle, etc. And eventually was taken over for Kinshasa. He was there for a day or two whilst we were there. So we put money together to get him the treatment. As we had met him 2 days before we flew back, we put together because we'll make sure that he gets a treatment. We're gonna fly back. Anything else he needs, we will support. On the day that we flew back, he died.
Oh, God.
And it completely broke all of us to then realize like there's people that are genuinely struggling back home. And there's people genuinely struggling because of the war that's happening in Eastern Congo, the war that's happening, the issues that we have back home. So there's a lot of work that we need to do. However, Elvis is carrying out an amazing work, and he's raising thousands and thousands of pounds, and he's been able to develop like shelters for women who have been sexually assaulted by other by the rebels, and he's been able to put them in camps in places where they can have a fighting chance to develop themselves. Some of them have been able to also develop businesses from the back of his support. So all those amazing work he's doing, and I honestly am really, really so proud to see like what he's doing and see what we've both been able to achieve as well from what we can from our own pockets half the time as well.
So personally for you, what has the experience been like being part of all of this?
If I be honest, I don't know how Elvis does it, because it's a lot. It's a lot emotionally. It's a lot when you have to see those pictures. You have to see those reality and understand like this is people like having to really struggle on a day-to-day basis to just have the small pot of rice, the small something. Because some people can actually go for days without having any food. So it is a lot. And for me personally, when I've gone to this orphanage and seen these kids for the very first time and seen that they literally, the things that I take for granted here in the UK is the thing that they would crave for. It is heartbreaking, and it is I don't think there's words that can explain how it feels to be in those moments. However, but then seeing how they grow and seeing some of them like Brunel, which is the girls I've met her from the very first time I went to the orphanage, to see the way she's becoming a mini mom in the orphanage. She takes care of everybody else. She's cooking for everybody, taking care of everybody else. It's amazing to see that journey, to be part of that journey with them, and it's an honor for me to see to see them grow, and I've been part of that journey to make them potentially give them like a fighting chance as well. But the other thing for me is, well, I always wish that I was a multi-millionaire or something that I can make them feel safe and give them somewhere for them to feel like they genuinely like have some where they have somewhere that they can be and I can do more.
Yeah.
And I think that's what keeps driving me to just know, like, you know what, just even if it's just £10, do something that would help somebody's day a little bit better. So every time I go home, even the means like buying some sweets and go see them some sweets, I would do that just to make sure they're consistently smiling and understand there's people around them that love them and also are there to support them as well.
Oh, that's so lovely. At least the thought about doing it is quite a good one. Now let's talk about your recognition and impact. You've been recognized as a top inspirational influencer finalist.
Yeah.
So what does this recognition mean to you at this stage of your journey?
To be honest, being recognized as UK Top Influencer Awards is the second year winning that I've actually been nominated for it. So I was nominated last year, just missed out on it last year. And this year, I wasn't expecting to be nominated for the second year, because usually you get nominated, there's other people are doing some fantastic things, but to be nominated for the second time or like around it is actually quite surreal for me as well. And also, like I've always said, like I never do anything for recognition. There's a lot of things that I do that people don't even know that I do. Like I've spoken quite a lot of things here.
Yeah.
People will listen to it and be like, "Whoa, I didn't know you do all this." But that's just the way I am. I tend to just do things and then forget about it or just move on to the next project. But to be recognized for the work I do is really good for me personally. However, it also shares a light on what actually the reality of things are happening. Like I've just spoken to you about these amazing orphans or what's happening in Eastern Congo. So having that platform gives me opportunity to speak about those people. More people understands the challenges that we are going through on a day-to-day basis, or these young people are going through on a day-to-day basis. So it generally does mean a lot to me, and obviously, I will keep on doing the best I can to keep on raising awareness to what is going on.
So, what would it take for you to win it?
So it's a voting. So like it's in a voting round. So now, so the voting was opened yesterday on the 1st of April, and it will close at the end of the month. So it's getting people now to just kind of vote. If people believe that I should be like a winner for it, then I would urge them to vote, because I genuinely want to utilize that platform to keep sharing the information, to keep sharing what is going on back home as well. And it is also it's a great honor to also have Beyond Me being as a UK top influencer. It's not just like you're being recognized like nationally as well for the work that you're doing. So I definitely would advise people to just vote if they can.
All right, so they just go to the site and then they vote. Is
Yeah.
that it?
So there's a link on my bio on my Instagram, so people can just click on that and vote.
Okay, all right,
Yeah.
that's absolutely fine. Well, everyone, you need to vote for him because, I mean, we've had all the lovely and amazing things he's been doing so far. So I personally will be voting for you
Thank you.
also. You're welcome. So let's talk about the key people who has actually inspired you on your journey so far.
Yeah.
Because I know apparently there are a lot of people that would have influenced
Yeah.
all the decision makings you have made. So can we talk about that?
Yeah. So I think the best way for me to answer that question is I can go to the very first person that has influenced my life from a very young age was my mother. My mom's been my rock, my best friends, my confidant, my somebody that I lean on so much from a very young age. Another story for another time is she's not my biological mother, but she's taken me on from 6 months old, and she gave me the purpose that I have today. And what the reason why I work a lot with orphanage, because I could have easily became an orphan at one point in my life, but she gave me that safe space for me to grow, and she's always been there to push me and drive me forward. So she's my biggest inspiration up until today. She constantly checks in on me. She checks me when I'm stepping back and but she also gives me the freedom to grow and be myself and everything else as well. So she's definitely one person that is a huge influence in my life on a day-to-day basis. And the second one is my T-side mom, which I call her my Auntie Shade Sangowawa. So I met Auntie Shade at this South Africa when I was 15, 16 years old. At 15, 16, I went, let's just say, off track a little bit, and I got into myself into a little bit of trouble. So as part of that journey, I was sofa surfing. Sofa surfing means like I was sleeping in all the different people's houses, because I didn't have a home. I was homeless. Because there's another story behind that as well. But to cut the short, I was homeless for a little time. So what I did was I used to stay at different friends' houses at different times, without them actually realizing I was homeless. So I just kind of stay here, and the next day I was next person, third person. So I was just doing that quite often. So then I attended like an event. I was invited by some friends. Bream Music was a person that invited me to an event in Stockton, and I went to this event in Stockton, and there was just this woman in front of me. She's like, "How are you? I've never seen you before. What's your name?" So I told her my name is again, but at that time I wasn't really speaking, so I sat at the back and I was watching this event happening. It was stage style, so young people like performing on stage, and then it was just like it's just somewhere I was around, and it was the first time I was around so many black young people as well at that time. So I had fun. She took my number and she kept checking in on me every so often. The point where she kept checking on me so much it was annoying. I was like, what's this woman wants? Like, what she keep calling me for? But it's in her own way to kind of keep checking. I think she realized that I was a little bit of a lost child at the time, but she wanted, without pushing into, she wanted to kind of like just keep reaching out to me. She kept inviting me to things. I kept coming and and just being there, part of a panel, very similar to what the Creative Youth Leadership Program is now. So we developed a good relationship, and she kept giving me responsibilities of things to do, and from that I just kept on working. As that was happening, I was developing, I still get myself into a little bit of a trouble. But then she gave me enough patience for me to be able to go through those challenging time of as a young person, and I was challenging. There was a couple of times where there's actually a time when I got arrested, and she was the first person I could speak to, and she gave me really good advice on what I need to do and how to get through a situation. And she's always kind of been there to kind of like just to kind of guide me. And she's opened quite a lot of doors for me here as well, and she's consistently, sometimes annoyingly, has this urge to keep pushing me to be better every single time, and without ever asking anything in return from me, because some people will be there to help you, but they want something back in return from me. But it's never been that. She's always consistently given me this mother love, and she says to everybody, I'm one of her sons, and she gave me all the support. So she's a big influence within me. And then also the people I've met throughout my life. I've met some inspirational people. I've mentioned Vanna Lumbio, right? Right now, she's a very inspirational woman. So she leads the Miss Black History Northeast, but she also, her story, her journey of where she is now is just phenomenal to see, like the drive that she has to be able to keep moving forward. And then there is people there. By the way, it's not just women. It feels like I'm heavily influenced by women.
No, I mean,
but
if those are the people that you're able to connect with and they're
Yeah.
actually supporting you,
Yeah.
that's absolutely fine.
Yeah, so they've been key people around me that have supported me to keep driving forward, and around footballing as well. I've had some really great coaches as well that have been pushing me. Like this Cookie Wolverstone, like skills that I've learned to become a much better footballer was because of the coaching consistency gave me, and he was the very first coach to have kept me at one club for 3 years, and he was consistently checking, pushing me, and driving me to points that we would fight in the changing room, like because I have a point of view, but because he cared and like he had a passion for me, I did find him annoying, but we just kept clashing. But he pushed me to become a much better person. So I give a lot to Cookie as well as a football coach. So all those people have been really key for me.
Are you thinking of being a coach sometimes? Like,
I've been there so many times I've gone to coaching, but yeah, I think potentially one time. I think when I have my own child,
all right,
I will go to I will go to coach my kids' football team or something like that. Then I'll support them. But yeah, there is some elements in me that I from time to time I do go into coaching. I've coached some younger teams, or I've come as a guest to be like to work just with center forward to kind of like give them some ideas and etc. So maybe there may be an opportunity for me to become a coach. We'll see.
I mean, you can have your. I mean, you can have your own football academy. That would be a lovely one.
I have back home I do. I started with my local community where I'm from, so it's a football team there, and Millsall Football Club here have donated me loads of football kits that I've taken back home, and so those kits have been given out, and some of them are just been ring fence just for the football teams, and they're doing really well for themselves, and they're playing really well. So every time I go there, I train with them as well to make sure all is well.
So I see that you have a lot of passion and drive for Africa, especially with the fact that you go back home a lot of times. So what's pushing you to do all of this?
I've been lucky enough to have the experience to come here and actually learn here, and I think a lot of people back home don't have that. That haven't had this chance or experience to be, or the opportunity to be able to be educated here, to have the experience that I've been able to get here. So for me, one thing that my mom's always told me: whatever you do, always tend to give back to the next person to help along the way. That's something that my mom's always had in me from a very young age. So I wanted to take the experience and the education and the intelligence that I have here to then go teach it back home. So that's what is passionate to me, and I've got this huge drive to be home and to kind of do a lot of things back home as well. Because I think like there is we are the people that can make Africa a better place. We are the people that can keep driving it forward. If we all run away and be like, no, that's somebody else's problem, nothing will ever get done. So if we start making those changes small and small at a time, potentially eventually it will impact people to then do more. And if, for example, it is now 10 people that are doing good things, becomes 100 people, 1,000 people, 1,000,000 people, Africa will develop to be what it can be as well. So that's my drive really into consistently being able to go back home.
Yeah, that's lovely. If everyone can think like that, I'm sure it would definitely make a difference.
Exactly.
So I looked you up on Instagram.
Yeah.
Junior Masandi. What's your other name?
It's Junior Masandi is my full name.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what does that mean?
Good question. I don't even know what middle name actually means. I actually don't. I've been told once. It's something to do with being able to rise again when you fall. So it's coming something like across those lines. But yeah, I need to find the exact terminology behind it.
So did you say Bubunde?
Bubintende.
Bubitende.
Yeah.
It's a lovely name. You're not even sure what it means.
I know it's along the lines of being the person that keeps getting knocks and keeps rising, knocks and rise all the time.
Okay, so I looked you up on Instagram and I saw your pinned posts.
Yes.
So do you want to talk to me about that? Like,
Yeah.
share what's that all about and what made you do that?
Yeah, so the 3-pin post is before, middle, and after of a challenge that I decided to take one time being part of a charity called Revive Congo. So a while ago, it's actually started with my brother, Theo. Theo did this thing where he was fundraising because he was going to go work in, I think it was Kenya. He's going to go work and he's fundraising to go work in Kenya for a little bit, working for me in Kenya. So he was doing like from home to work, like walk every single day. And along the route, he was talking about like...
He was walking?
Yeah, walking, yeah. So it was like a 3 mile walk every single day from work. And he was do that every single morning. And he was talking about like being African, the journeys, the challenges, etc. So I joined him for that challenge. And then he did really well, raised some money, went to Kenya. And then when I started working with Revive Congo, I was thinking, so what can I do to then fundraise money? How can I challenge myself? Because I'm a person that loves to challenge myself. And an idea came to me, said like, why don't you just walk from London to Middlesbrough? I was like, so I was like, do you know what? How long does it take? So I looked online, it was 7 days. I was like, 7 to 10 days. Like, do you know what? I'm going to do it. So one day, after this Africa showcase, actually, right? This Africa showcase finished on the night. I jumped on a coach and I went to London and I walked back from London. So that was a 7-day walk I did at the time, and I think I raised like £3,000, and it was a good challenge. And I was like, okay, this is good. And then people got involved in it, and people like supporting me, etc., etc. Wow. And that was good. So when that finished, and this was also to help. All the money was going into helping orphans get into schools, so paying for the schools, etc. Mm-hmm. And then when I finished, just after COVID, I decided, and I asked myself, so what else can I do? What can I do? How can I do more? Like, because I wanted to raise a lot more. I wanted to raise like £10,000. I was like, you know what? Actually, let me walk around into General Growth, because that's the path of walking from the bottom end of England to the top end in Scotland. So it's like going up. So I looked at that, and then people thought I was mad. I was like, why would you want to do that? You're not able to do it. And they said like, I was like, okay, you want to do it solo? I was like, yeah, I'll walk solo. It's like, so where are you going to stay? I was like, you know what? Let's see what happens. What's the worst that could happen? Yeah. So eventually I started to train myself. And the moment I set myself a date and said, I'm going to start on this date, and I posted on social media, now I had to do it because I've said it. Mm-hmm. So I trained myself and I did it. And the first day came. Just the week before I did even that walk, I got injured at football, so I couldn't walk properly. Oh. And if you look at my Instagram videos, the very day 0, I was on crutches coming down the stairs to go to the train station to go. So I was like, you know what, I'm going to push through it and see whatever happens. So I went to Land's End, to Penzance first, and then I stayed the night there, and then I started walking from Land's End. So I walked the whole journey for 43 days. So the middle part of my pin post is a place called Scotland, and I wrote a piece that is kind of like I wrote a piece to my sister Rosette, who passed away a few months before it. And whilst I was preparing myself for it, and I said to her that I'm going to be doing, she asked me how much there, but she wanted me to check it on every single day, like to make sure that I'm okay. So we just had this discussion back and forth, and just a couple months before I took the walk, she ended up she died, and then so that was kind of like my thank you for her, and it's my emotional moment to be like, listen, I've made it to the border, like I said I would, and I contacted you. So I did that post, and then I went on to then completing the full thing in 43 days. those 43 days was the most challenging I've ever challenged my body in my entire life, because it took me 3 months for me to recover to be able to walk properly after that walk.
Wow.
I had to go back into like therapy and etc. to kind of like rebuild the muscles around my leg, because it was such a long journey. And normally people take 70 to 80 days to do it. I did in 43.
You did in
So it was a
43.
full challenge. And the day before I finished that day, the day before I went to the hospital because I couldn't walk. I was struggling to walk, and the person at the hospital said to me, "If you're not finishing tomorrow, they told you to stop, because you're making damages to yourself now." So I've been able to do that, and when I finished it, there's a video. There's the video log of it is on YouTube. I literally the last day I spoke to one of my football friends, and he said to me, "Say, Junior, bro, I'll be honest with you, I didn't think you were gonna do it." And he said that to me, I just bursted crying, because all the emotions, all the pain, everything just kind of like just flooded the same day. Because I used to do that journey, I had to wake up at 6 a.m. in the morning. I wake up at 5, be out the door by 5:30, and finish by 1 p.m. because it's also it's one of the hottest summer ever in the UK as well. So consistently walking was really difficult. So 1 p.m. then I'll rest, and then I'll do the next day. And there was times, like if you're on a vlog, there are times where you're waking up and you're walking, you're thinking like, I just want to give up. Like, this is painful, this is hard. Because some of the mountains you're walking were just like upwards. And then upward wasn't the biggest problem. Coming back down was a problem, because when your body's already knackered, you're coming down, like your body just, because you got to kind of like pause, and you just felt pain consistently. And at the start of it as well, I wasn't raising enough money as I thought I was going to raise. So I kind of like, I was ready to give in. But then I had like Banky W. We shared my walk. Banky W, the Nigerian singer, actor, we shared it. Yannick Bolasi, who's a professional footballer for Congo, we shared it. So there's people that come in and know us how we're sharing this journey, and they kind of give me the boost I needed to keep moving forward. So that was one of my favorite challenges, difficult challenges, and the time where I always say like, I learned more about myself during those 43 days, because there was times where there was nobody. You're walking a full day, and you don't see a single soul at all, and you just have to keep your mind focused and walking and just keep going, and it's really difficult. And there's times where I got lost.
I was going to ask you that. How did you even know what path you were going?
There was a set path. There's some paths you could follow, and I also had my iPhone map as well. But then there's a place where we got to where I think it's just after Banner Castle. There was no phone signal at all, and you're going through a field. So you're going through a waterfall, this beautiful waterfall, the Highfall waterfall, and then after that, you walk into like this big open space where it must have been acres, like, but there's no path. What do you do? Like, and I had to just kind of like just trust my instinct and just keep following to come out the other end. And that it was like 2 to 3 hours where nobody can get hold of me. I wasn't my tracker wasn't working because there was no signal and there was nothing at all. So you just have to just have faith. Eventually, I came onto the road, but all these things are in the video log. But there, it was, and I got chased by a cow. So yeah, no, it was really good. But yeah, and my mom said to me like, "Don't ever do that again."
No,
don't do it again.
I mean, I know you did it just to challenge yourself and also, for the purpose why you did it. But that was really risky.
It was risky. It was stupidity.
Imagine being chased by a cow.
And there were some times though where you walk into a town, for example, right? There's no single black person on site. You're the only black person that's landed. Everyone's looking at you thinking, wow, okay, you're that guy today. And there was a time, I walked into a pub because I got to a place where I was resting. I was hungry, so I went to a pub which was around the corner. And walked into this pub, there were some beautiful cars outside, like Aston Martins, Porsche, etc. outside. As soon as I walked in, the place goes quiet, and everyone just looks at you thinking, okay. And the dog came to me, so I just petted this dog and I went and sat down in the corner. Down in the corner, I was like, okay, so you're that guy now. Everybody's kind of like, who are you? Like in this remote village. Then the best thing what happened about that though was the chef came out. He's like, I had lasagna. He said, you enjoyed the lasagna? When the lasagna was like, oh, so what are you doing? So I explained to him what I was doing. He went around, collected money from everybody, and he brought me back some cash. And that cash then went into the pot. I think it's about £300 I managed to get from them as well in that place. So yeah, there's just random things that happened as well.
But that's actually one whole experience for you. I mean, Wow, that's a lot. It's something that you can do it. I don't know if I can do it. I love it. I mean, it's quite funny though, but it's really an inspiration to me. So now, what advice, what inspiration would you share to other, especially African entrepreneurs out there, who are looking up to start up a business, or who are actually into business, or who are just trying to live their life?
Honestly speaking, like I think the best way, I always, when somebody asks me a question, I always think, so what would I tell myself if I was 10 years old, for example,
Yeah.
if I was starting up? I actually would say to myself, like, there's no blueprints to life. There
Yeah.
isn't. There's no, I'll do this, it'll be this. No, there isn't. Like, I've had so many challenges, I've had so many curveballs, I've had so many tears, I've had so many laughters, I've had so many hurts, I've had so many pains that in life, that all that has been able to build me the person I am today. And I'm still feel like I'm at the early phase of my life. I'm still yet to even figure out who Junior Masandi actually is, or what my future will hold. So I'm just testing everything out, and it's okay. It's okay to kind of get it wrong. It's okay to make mistakes. It's okay to fall. It's okay. It's okay to fail in business. It's okay to fail in things, even in relationships, and making those mistakes. It's okay, because at the end of the day, it's what we learn from. That's what builds our journey into who we are going to be in the future. So just keep going forward, and make sure you've got really good people around you that will back you up, that will support you, and that will lift you up when the world feels like it's against you. Like, have people around you that can lift you up, and that's really, really important. That's what's been able to save me.
Yeah, that's very important. Yeah. Do you have any other thing you'd want to share? You want us to know?
Um,
People out there to know?
just let's just keep moving forward as a community. Let's just keep collaborating. Let's just try to do as much as we can, especially for those that live in Teesside. Teesside is a small town, so make sure that you check in on each other, and make sure that you do what you can to keep pushing our culture forward, especially what is happening at the moment with the politics and what's happening in the world. We are in front. We are dealing with things that you wouldn't think we would have to deal with in this day and age. So make sure that you try to do the right things, and and just learn from our mistakes.
Thank you. So if you've enjoyed today's episode, don't forget to subscribe on our YouTube channel at the Diaspora Code. And also, do not forget to vote for Junior Masandi as Top UK Influencer 2026. You can go to his Instagram page, Junior Masandi. The link is in the bio. Just click on it and vote for him, because definitely I will be giving him my vote. Until I see you in the next episode, take care and have a lovely